Between 1789, when George Washington became president, and 1841, when William Harrison reached that position, there had been dramatic changes in the United States. The population had quadrupled from 4 to 17 million people. The number of states had doubled from 13 to 26, and the land mass of the United States was now several times larger than the original 13 states. This westward expansion of the country is sometimes known as Manifest Destiny. It was facilitated by a number of important developments, such as the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the United States, and the push westwards by white settlers, buying up huge tracts of land and thereby enabling the government to build the necessary infrastructure and support the United States Army and Navy. Today we look at the career of one of the generals who became president and how his career helped shape that history. William Harrison was born the 9th of February 1773. His family were planters from Charles County, Virginia. His father, Benjamin, fought in the Revolutionary War and served as a delegate to the Continental Congress. Young William attended the University of Pennsylvania and intended to qualify as a medical doctor. However, he was forced to leave his medical studies when his father died, which created financial difficulties for the family. He was subsequently recruited to join the militia by Virginia Governor Henry Lee. By the age of 21, he had been promoted to the role of lieutenant, became aide-de-camp to General Wales, and fought in the Battle of Fallen Trees in the Northwest in August 1794. Fallen Timbers was the last battle of the Northwest Indian War. This victory allowed the United States to expand into the Northwest, so that by the age of 21, William Harrison had become a distinguished and brave Army officer. The following year, he was a signatory to the Treaty of Greenville between the United States government and the Indian tribes. This treaty, in effect, ceded most of the future state of Ohio to the United States government. It represented a major reversal for the Native American people in the Northwest. Also in 1795, at the age of 22, Harrison married Anna Toohill. Her father disapproved of the marriage, so the young couple eloped and got married in a nearby town. They later had 10 children, and their grandson Benjamin Harris later became president in 1889. William Harrison holds a unique place in American history in that his father was a member of the Continental Congress and his grandson became president over a century later. In 1799, when the Northwest Territory reached the population threshold to have a delegate in Congress, Harrison went forward and won the seat. In Congress, he argued for lower land prices for new settlers in the Northwest. He also insisted that land should be sold in smaller portions. In the Land Act of 1800, both of these ideas were incorporated, and subsequently the population of the Northwest increased rapidly. He also served on a congressional subcommittee which decided the boundaries of many new states in the Northwest, such as Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Harrison, who was very familiar with the territory, had a significant input in relation to the state boundaries and counties. In 1800, President John Adams appointed him a territorial governor of Indiana. From this position, he had wide-ranging powers, deciding the size and boundaries of both political districts and counties in the state. Between 1803 and 1809, Harrison conducted 11 separate treaties with Native Americans. Some tribe leaders disagreed with the terms of the treaties, and this led to attacks on white settlers later. In total, the Harrison treaties provided an additional 60 million acres of land for the United States government, and the revenue it generated helped to pay off previous war debts. During his time as governor, Harrison found himself increasingly in conflict with the new anti-slavery movement which was emerging in the Northwest. He argued for the suspension of anti-slavery legislation in the Northwest to encourage white settlers to move there, but Congress rejected his proposals. In response, Harrison introduced legislation in Indiana which allowed for indentured service, which was a kind of time-limited form of slavery. By 1810, however, the Indiana legislature rejected indentured service as a means of employment, and Jefferson as president had also been opposed to both slavery and indentured service in the Northwest. There was continuing conflict between settlers and Native Americans, and in 1811, Harrison as governor led the Indiana militia to victory against the Native Americans in the Battle of Tippecanoe. The following year, war broke out between the United States and Great Britain, and Harrison resumed his military career as general. In 1813, he defeated the combined forces of the British and Indians in the Battle of the Thames. The great Indian warrior Tecumseh was killed in the battle, and subsequently the Indian Federation fell apart. This victory for the American side effectively ended the alliance between the British and the Native Americans in the Northwest. From these victories, Tippecanoe in 1811 and the Battle of the Thames 2 years later, Harrison emerged as a national hero. Following the war, he was elected to the House of Representatives for the 1st District of Ohio in 1816. In 1824, he was elected to the Senate, where he served until 1828. By the early 1820s, several Republicans in Latin America sought their freedom from Spain. Following the Congress of Panama in 1826, there was instability in some of these new republics. Harrison was sent by President John Quincy Adams to act as U.S. military penitentiary in Gran Colombia in 1828. While there, he clashed with Simon Bolivar in relation to how South American republics should be developed. He reported his belief to the State Department that Bolivar was attempting to become a military dictator. However, Harrison was recalled from Colombia by Andrew Jackson after he became president in 1829. By the early 1830s, Harrison was spending much of his time in semi-retirement at his farm in North Bend, Ohio. By the mid-1830s, however, the new Whig Party were looking for a national candidate to represent their party. This elected Harrison, believing his war record could match that of Andrew Jackson. However, although he won the Whig nomination easily, he failed to defeat Martin Van Buren in the presidential election of 1836. The Panic of 1837 created a financial crisis which existed throughout the Van Buren presidency and made him an unpopular figure by 1840. Harrison was again selected as the Whig candidate in 1840. The Democrats accused Harrison of cider drinking, but he successfully incorporated this image into his campaign and at the same time branded Martin Van Buren as Martin Van Ruin. Harrison's running mate was John Tyler, and their election campaign, Tippecanoe and Tyler too, became a central feature of their election campaign. Harrison and Tyler won the election, and William Harrison became the first Whig president in American history. William Harrison had been a very successful army officer, concluded many important treaties with Native Americans. These treaties effectively brought the state of Ohio into the Union. As Indiana governor, he had a huge influence on the subdivision of that state. However, although he won the 1840 election by a landslide, 234 votes to 60 electoral college votes to Martin Van Buren, he died a month later in office and was replaced by his running mate John Tyler as president.